Can the Steelers make the playoffs this year and run it to the Super Bowl? Probably not, but they can make the playoffs. We feel pretty confident in that they will make it to the playoffs this year. Mm-hmm. Laundry list of reasons why, but the most prominent one that I know a lot of people these days talk about is their strength of schedule. I believe we looked it up they have the 25th ranked strength of schedule, or easiest schedule would be another way to say it.
Yeah,
they do play a lot of teams this year that are rebuilding, which definitely is going to help them a lot. They have an improved O-line. I know they signed Isaac. Oh my gosh, how do you say his name?
I don't know how to say his name. I can't even help you. I'm the worst with names.
we're gonna act like we know him personally. He's a great dude. We're leaving it at Isaac. Isaac, who signed from Philadelphia to play left guard, in-state, moved state to state teams, in-state teams, from Philadelphia to Pittsburgh. He's going to be the new starting left guard, and he's extremely talented. And again, I apologize if we don't know his last name, but he's so cool. I think he should just go by Isaac. They also drafted Broderick Jones from Georgia in the first round of the draft this year, who looks like an absolute stud. So the improved O-line is really going to help out Najee Harris's run game. Kenny Pickett, it'll help with his development, less pressure on him. I think they had one of the worst ranked O-lines last year, you were saying, right?
So as of right now, PFF has their O-line ranked 12th, which is up 4 spots compared to last season. Okay,
so 16 and 12. I mean, that's still a pretty big jump there. And then if we kind of go through their skill positions, I mean, we have Pickens, who's been a human highlight reel all training camp so far. They still have Deontay Johnson, who's a stud. They have Allen Robinson. I don't know if you guys remember that. They traded for Allen Robinson for peanuts. And they actually signed Patrick Peterson. Again, we're not sure how much he can still play. He is a little up there in age, but it's still Patrick Peterson. So the wide receiver room honestly kind of looks like one of the best in the league. That probably doesn't get talked about enough. They also signed Akeem Butler. Just going to give a shout out to him, who was in the XFL, I believe, and I think he led the league in receiving yards. He looked like a stud from the games that I kind of saw from there. I think he played for the Battlehawks, if I remember that right. They also have Calvin Austin III. I believe they drafted him out of Memphis a couple of years ago, and Miles Boykin still. So, I mean, they have to have one of the deepest receiving rooms in the NFL. And then to back it up at tight end, they still have Pat Freiermuth, who's one of the top tight ends in the league. He's a great dude, great tight end. He can catch, he can block, he does all the things you want out of the tight end position. And then to back him up, they signed this 6'8", 6'7" giant named Darnell Washington out of Georgia, who made all the guys there look like children, who again has been making highlight plays in OTAs and training camp. So and that's just the offense that we're talking about here.
Yeah, they have so much talent across the board. I didn't realize their receiver room was that deep. It's crazy.
Yeah. So I didn't realize this. So we also really like their defense. Specifically, the guy I like the most that they drafted this year was Nick Herberg out of Wisconsin. Just an absolute disruptor. We've talked about him in our rookie segment. We've talked about him all throughout. The dude is a monster. And apparently, from my understanding, he's been tearing it up at training camp. Just look unblockable. And I was looking at the depth chart because I have the depth chart here for the Steelers. And I saw Nate Herberg for right guard. And I was like, oh, is the depth chart fucked up? Like, am I looking at this wrong thing again? Oh my gosh, no. And I was like, oh, nope, they have his brother. Nick Herberg is the guy from Wisconsin that's drafted. Nate Herberg is apparently a right guard for them as well.
Interesting. So, I didn't know that. Okay.
I know.
That's cool.
I thought I'd heard about that before, but I think this is the first time I really just kind of saw and caught it. Pittsburgh loves linking up brothers in the NFL.
Yeah, it's like a whole family thing too, because they have Joey Porter Jr.
Yep,
playing corner now for them.
Yep, they did it with the Watts too for a while. There, I don't know if.
Oh yeah, they did.
Yeah. I know they were trying really hard to get J.J. Watt there too, but he came out with the story of why he actually didn't sign with Pittsburgh was. TJ was in contract negotiations at the time, and he didn't want to feel like he was taking money out of TJ's mouth to feed himself. So, super nice dude. JJ Watt is unbelievably nice man. And they also drafted Keanu Benson, another guy we talked about in our rookie segment out of Wisconsin, defensive lineman, team captain all 4 years. He's been amazing. They still have Cameron Hayward. They still have T.J. Watt should be back this year. They just signed Alex Highsmith, to I think it was a 3-year, $70-something million deal. He had 14.5 sacks last year. So, I mean, even at edge, if you're looking at, they might have one of the deepest edge rooms, defensive line rooms in the NFL as well. They just have edge rusher after edge rusher after edge rusher. It's insane. They also signed Kwan Alexander.
Yeah, I was about to say they're too deep. Really impresses me, especially on like defense. They have Keanu Neal, who played a good amount of time for the Falcons, second string strong safety for them right now. Marcus Golden, who played a good amount of ball for the Giants, I believe, and maybe the Cardinals.
Arizona. I remember him back when he was in Arizona.
Second string strong linebacker to stand for them. And then Quan backup. I don't know. He listed at LILB, so maybe just the left and inside backer. I would kind of they run a 3-4 defense, right? So I guess that makes sense.
Yeah.
So maybe he's playing like the Will.
Probably
or the Mike. Yeah. Dude. I actually didn't know that they were this solid. Mostly because I don't really pay attention to the Steelers that much, but people are definitely sleeping on them.
Oh, for sure. And then they still have, I'm just Minka Fitzpatrick here or Joey Porter Jr. I mean, they just seem like an insanely talented team that's peaking right at the right time. You know, Kenny Pickett's going to his second year. I know he took, I think, half the games his first year, splitting them with Mitchell Trubisky, somewhere in that range there. I guess the whole season to go out there and perform. We should see a lot of growth from him. And again, they play the 25th weakest schedule in the NFL, and that plays such a huge role into whether you're going to make the playoffs or not. So we actually, at least I went. We went through and looked at their schedule, and we felt confident that they could pull out a 10-6 season. And if you're really into sports betting, I think their over-under right now is 8.5 games.
Yeah, the over-under is 8.5 games, and then according to Fox Sports, their odds to make the playoffs are like plus 130-ish. So not super bad.
No, if you're looking for a great sleeper bet, you can take the over on the games, and you can take the playoff bet and make a little bit of money there. I wouldn't go crazy here, but $100 bet wouldn't be too bad on that, I think.
I already put like $10,000 on them, so I'm already locked in.
You ever think you have a problem? Sometimes you're like,
For those that don't know, I don't have $10,000 to spend on a fucking bet, so I am broke. So I was being sarcastic as hell. I'll put it like a 10-cent bet on. That's how much money I have right now.
It's okay. I took a second mortgage out to pay for this. I don't have a first mortgage, but I took a second one out.
I'm hedging my entire financial future on the Steelers winning 10 games and making the playoffs. So
yeah. Well, if you're, I would like to correct this error. We said 10-6. There's 17 games they play now, so 10-7 would be their record. I know.
didn't even catch you said that. I'm so used to hearing the 16, so.
I know. I just saw it right now. What's great is that people are watching this video are going to watch it to about 4.5 minutes where I said 10-6. And then our comment section on Twitter or YouTube is going to be full of, there's 17 games, which to all of you right now, you are correct. There are 17. I fucked up. It's going to be 10-7. So
we think they'll go 10-7, guys, not 10-6. So don't kill us. Okay. All right.
10-7.
All right.
But I hope for Ravens fans that watched our segment yesterday or watched the earlier segment, if you're watching this in the full podcast, get a little bit better of an understanding of why we were saying that we think that they're going to edge out the Ravens for the playoffs this year, and as well as for the Dolphins fans as well. There's just always so many playoff spots to go around, and the Steelers have such a great schedule lined up. They have so much talent that's ready to pop. It just seems to be a match made in heaven when they just sneak in and get that second or third wild card spot. And just, it's unfortunate that one of the other teams that are really talented are just going to have to miss out on it this year. It's just sometimes the way it rolls.
Yeah. And guys, we could be more time than not, we're probably really fucking wrong. So don't take this personally. We don't have a personal vendetta against the Ravens or the Dolphins or the Vikings. I mean, a little bit me, or the Bucks. We don't have any personal issues with any sort of team or fan base. We're trying to give our best rational thoughts These aren't trying to hot take you guys at all, try to get some engagement or views like many people do. These are full like evidence, data backed support, just thoughts and teams and whatnot.
Yeah. And again, anyone that's watching this point, everything we do, every decision we make, we're like, oh, we give this opinion about it. It's all very detailed. It's all very researched. We try to provide you great examples. Why, like, for example, with the Steelers here, they have so much great young talent. They had such a great draft this past year. I mean, look what happened to the Seahawks the year prior when they had a great draft. You know, I think if they hit on those like six out of their 8 picks were like starters, I believe, in the first year, and they made the playoffs because of it. You know, so
correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But correct me if I'm wrong. You said back in April that the Steelers draft class was like your favorite draft class, right?
Yeah,
or something like that. It was like your top 3 or something like that.
I think it's my top. I think it might have actually been number 1 for me.
I think
because
so.
I was in between them and the Eagles.
So I bring that up just to show everyone, like, we're not just saying stuff just to spur up some engagement of views. Like, this has been like a long, research topic for us. Like, we're not just pulling shit out of our ass just to say it.
And just to further up on that, on what we just mentioned with our previous video on the Steelers draft, we actually weren't the only ones that had this opinion. There's an account and a YouTube channel as well named the Mock Draft Podcast, I believe it is. Who we will have a future episode with coming out here, had the same thing. He had the Steelers as his top-rated draft as well. So, again, I think it's just further evidence to show that the Steelers, I mean, they're going to be an exciting young team to watch this year. George Pickens, again, has been a human highlight reel out there. Deontay Johnson's still a stud. You know, all the reasons we previously listed, they're going to have an explosive offense. I wouldn't be surprised if they're probably in the top 10 of total offense this year. So don't be surprised when you see it and sitting here and see, oh my gosh, they had 6 Pro Bowlers this year. They're just a really stacked team.